Hello, welcome to CERAWeek 2017. I'm Atul Arya, Senior Vice President and Chief Energy Strategist at IHS Markit, and it's my great pleasure to welcome Mrs. Isabel dos Santos, who is the Chief Executive of Sonangol, Angola's national oil company. Mrs. dos Santos, welcome to Houston and to CERAWeek 2017.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here.
And it's your first time here at CERAWeek?
Yes, absolutely. I'm very excited to be here.
Very good. So let's start by talking about what is happening in Angola. A lot of changes, and could you tell us how the country is doing, how the economy is doing?
Yes, indeed. We have challenges and we have changes, which is a good thing because, like they say, in each crisis there are opportunities. And our government has been quite bold in identifying these opportunities. And we were nominated in 2016, July, as a new board of Sonangol. Sonangol is a national oil company. And the main challenges that were given to this board is to focus on its transformation and on the restructuring of the company, to make a company that's much more focused on oil and gas and its core activities.
So before that, it was doing a lot of other things which you're trying not to do now. Is that correct? Becoming more focused on just a core.
Yeah, Sonangol comes with legacy.
Yes.
We are a company that's about 40 years old, so 41 years old to be precise. And since its inception, we always played a key role, a pillar role in Angola's society. And that meant that sometimes we had to step in and do things that governments do. So sometimes we stepped in and with social projects, whether it was housing or education or health projects, even agricultural projects, and that made us have a very diversified portfolio. So today we have over 90 subsidiaries, almost 100 subsidiaries. And of course we're dealing with a lot more than just oil and gas, and focusing back onto oil and gas, really what is our core business, is of extreme importance.
And how has this been received both internally by your employees and also by your partners?
Well, as Angola has evolved, we had stability. Since 2002, we had peace. This is 14 years of peace. 14 years of peace have brought significant growth in economy. We were one of the fastest growing economy in in Africa. And of course, in the world, as a matter of fact. And that translated in a big economy diversification. If we look today, we have many players, whether it's in the financial sector, we have over 30 banks. We have large construction groups that are able to build complicated things such as bridges or hydro dams, and these are local companies. So a lot of capacity was installed in the business sector, and there was no need for Sonangol to continue to be part of all these different range of activities. So that's focusing back was key.
And the last couple of years, and you kind of took on the leadership in the middle of the biggest downturn for a long time in the industry. So how are you dealing with that? Because your partners, you have a lot of partners, and they have all cut down their investments quite significantly. So what's that conversation like?
I can't hide from it. It was extremely tough. I think when I came on board and our new board was appointed, it was the toughest moment in the company's history. So it was very difficult. I personally was very worried. Many sleepless nights. We really wanted to make sure that we came with the right solutions and that we kept the company going. Our revenues had dropped significantly. We were facing a downturn in oil prices that were lasted over 2 years, that had a negative impact, had eroded a lot of our reserves. We were also dealing with quite a large debt since we had invested heavily in committing capex and developing new oil fields in 2006, in 2008, 2010. So all of this kind of caught up with us, and it was very important to then see how could we be resilient and how could we build a company that would still stay alive and then progress and continue to grow.
So now, looking forward, now that prices, higher.
Yes.
So how does that look to you? If you were to say a year or two from now, what would be your kind of vision for Sonangol? Where do you want to get to?
Yes. Well, I think price has definitely helped, but we were not just focused on the good news of price. What we really did is we looked at the company and we said, how can we streamline our costs? Can we look at reducing our OPEX? So let's look at our operations. Are there any efficiencies that can be introduced? Can we start sharing infrastructure? Can we introduce a business environment where actually the supply service companies are able to deliver a service at a lower cost?
Yes.
And we were very successful at doing that. We achieved significant price reductions over the last 9 months. We achieved significant savings, and we wish to continue to do so. Our ambition is to have really a low OPEX per barrel.
So the last question then would be, you have one of the most fantastic resource endowment in Angola in terms of hydrocarbon resource. So do you see the development going further more towards the south? And can you say a little bit about, where do you see sort of hydrocarbon potential? And what would be your message to the investors and partners who are all here in Houston?
Yes, well, definitely going south is something that we're looking at. We have very prolific blocks in the south. Initially, many of our oil findings, the more traditional ones, were in the north, near Zaire and Cabinda province, and these are our older blocks. And as they tend to now come to their end of life, we're beginning to look at new prospects more in the Benguela region and off the southern coast. And we have found some very good prospects that are commercially viable, and we look forward to start exploring those in the next 3 to 4 years.
So do you see doing some more bids and auctions for those blocks?
Absolutely, yes. We have blocks that are currently, that have been explored and have shown a potential for development. So we'll be committing CapEx to putting those online, bringing those into production. And by 2020, those should be in production. But we're also looking at new bids and new blocks, but probably not this year, more towards the end of next year or the early 2019.
Well, thank you for being here. Please do come back next year and tell us how the journey is progressing. And please join me in thanking Mrs. Isabel dos Santos, CEO of Sonangol.